Okay, third take is the charm. Apparently, I forgot to hit record. I don't know how I even managed to do these things. Okay, so, going through this fairly quickly. Offense first, that's the red positions. The black icons you see are theoretical defensive, or theoretical enemy team, so either on offense or defense. I'm going to move them around a bit. And then blue is defense. So my general assumption to start out with is that basically offense is going to look to control the left side here, and then defense is going to try and control this right side because they've got their spawn coming in feeding this. So, you know, this is kind of how I'm approaching the map. I know that sometimes offenses rotate around the back, and the most thought I've put into that is basically that the defense will probably rotate into some of the red positions and then just use those as if we were attacking, but letting, you know, kind of playing it a little bit more reactively, just using the same positions to get health, for example. So this one, you know, if they push onto high ground, hide behind these boxes. And yeah, so that's my general, those are my general assumptions. And let's get going. Alright, so first one is this position, which is basically, I mean, I'm assuming this is on top of the building. You can't see that because I haven't played with the layers, but the idea is just after, you know, after a lost fight or something, I can get on the high ground, which gives me a little bit more leeway to kind of engage quicker, especially if they're holding at the choke. I think that from the front of this building, like if I go onto the roof area here, I think that I can jump over the choke. I'm not sure about that, but I can at least get into the window. So it's kind of a good idea. I think it's a good idea to have the possibility of being on high ground, and basically this area lets me use the dome as cover. And then if they've got like a Farah or something and I can't hold it, I can drop down into the corner or drop down into the room itself, or even retreat to spawn. So that's this position, but it's not very useful. More to the point, this is a position that I would use as a transition. You know, maybe I'd pause here for a couple of seconds to get, or maybe a second, you know, not very long, because it's obviously vulnerable to an angle from the Widow. Like if there's a Widow over here, you know, if there's a Hanzo over here or whatever, like this is not an easy place to close those angles and not be able to be shot. But yeah, basically it's if the defense is, you know, if they're holding pretty aggressively kind of around this area, then at this point, you know, I'm going to take poke on the way in and, you know, pausing a beat to get some health instead of using bubble and then using DM to cross into the room. That would be kind of the idea behind this position. But obviously it's not a very tenable one, and that's not something I'm going to be looking for. One last comment is that because this, you know, to spam comps, there's an Orisa here or whatever. If there's an Orisa here, then obviously this whole angle is really a death box. And so I think that what I'm going to try and do as a main tank and just kind of is the entire team goes around this right-hand side. Because it's unlikely they'll be able to poke as effectively, no matter where they're holding. It's much more difficult to shoot this angle, and so we're going to be able to get to the choke quicker with more health, more resources, and so, you know, this crossing is basically where I'm sure I would take poke, and being able to get over here and get some healing before transitioning into this room is the idea behind that. So, get rid of the Orisa. So this room here is really, you know, either come in, still have a bunch of poke to heal up, and so pause in here, recover, or you know, or maybe I had to use bubble to cross this area or something, something drastic like that, and so I need to stay here for a few seconds and get the cooldown back, or, you know, get more seconds on the cooldown. Or the other possibility is we started to cross, and got chunked down big time. So against this defensive comp, I'm thinking, it'd be probably a Widow. Maybe they're playing double sniper, like a Widow shot and a Hanzo shot or Storm Volley or whatever. Or maybe, they've got their Zen. If they've got a Zen that's kind of set up on the high ground, maybe I take a right click, that kind of an idea. And so I'd want to duck back into the room instead of trying to cross, just basically whichever room is closest, go into that one, and get healed up. So this is similar idea, healed up after entering the room. And this one is, we're trying to exit onto the high ground, trying to take control of this high ground, but take a bunch of damage immediately and have to back up and recover. Maybe even their Winston Diva have jumped up onto this platform, and so, we need to back up and get some healing, and then we can come out and push them out because we'll have the healer advantage, whereas, they're going to have their Zen all the way across here, and their Mercy is going to be vulnerable if she comes up, so she can't really move too close, and so we'll be able to push through and take this position. So that's the idea behind that. Obviously, they're not all going to be 6 on the high ground, but I'm just going to set them up here for now. Yeah, the soldier's not useful yet. So the next position that I was thinking of is here. Not necessarily both tanks here, but basically the idea would be to use the small cover that's here as a staging area to jump onto the high ground. If we're gonna dive them straight across, then doing that, being here would let me, hold bubble and stuff. And then the other time I would use this is, maybe we've jumped them already. We fought a bit on the high ground, come back, fight around the point. Maybe I'd jump across the point, and fight someone over here. And then I notice my health is going down, so I back up and I end up over here. And this assumes that we control this sight line. Basically, it's basically we have to be in control. We can't have anybody over here. Even someone in bridge is maybe questionable. I don't think that you can see from the bridge. I don't think you can shoot at this area. But yeah, absolutely no one over here. And then I can come over here, and I can have the Zen on the high ground who can heal me, and then that hides me from over here. And also to an extent, for if they've got a tracer and their tracer is on the low ground over here, obviously she can still blink up and pressure me here, but it's a little bit safer than just being in the middle of the point. So that's the second scenario. And then so the next kind of staging position we could use is over here. Maybe like I said, if they've got a Hanzo or whatever who takes up over here to maybe they've got their Hanzo and their Mercy over here, trying to spam this high ground, so we can't really stay there. So we rotate over here to be able to pressure the rest of their backline over here. So if we do that, for example, if they're like this maybe, and we do this, that way this wall protects us from the Hanzo. He's not very useful anymore. He has to rotate across, and then he's pretty vulnerable, or he's got a really closed angle from the bridge. He could take the opposite high ground like this, but then we could just reverse onto him. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is this is basically, if we don't control this angle, then this is where I need to be to escape damage. And then if they control both of these angles, then and I'm caught on point or whatever, then I'm basically screwed, because there's not really, I'm not really sure where I go. Maybe down here, but again, like the Widow will still control that angle. So it's difficult to imagine getting out from here if they've got a Hanzo here and a Widow here and I'm on the point. So, but this would be the goal: get here, stay safe, and then so then survive this pressure, and then as well, this way we can push up walk like this, like a goat's comp, like a death ball, and just kind of push up here. Don't use cooldowns, and then we can pressure the back line. Obviously, they're gonna have to back up, and they're not gonna be sitting at the corner contesting us, but we're gonna have cooldown advantage. We can get on them after that, wherever they are, after pushing up this way. So that's that goal there. I've already talked about this one, and then these two are also staging areas. So if instead of going high ground, well, no, if they're already set up on this high ground, then I can't take this position, but I could probably take this one, because there's some cover from both angles behind the box. It's not great, but there's a little bit, and then so then from here I can jump this high ground, but I can also kind of step across this platform and jump over here, straight onto their back line, which would be more of what I was envisioning when I put the icon here, is using this as a staging area to jump the high ground over here. And then this is a similar idea, but just on the low ground. If maybe they've got a Farah, I doubt that they will, but maybe they have a Farah, and then so then I need to get the extra coverage from the wall, and I can go here, and then just kind of move across point and jump when I get in range. I'm not totally sure what the leap range. I don't think you can jump from here to here, but probably from here to here is fine. But yeah, this is a staging area, and then as well, if the fight, if we lose the fight a little bit and we were on point, maybe the respawns have come in and we didn't clean up properly, and so we're losing ground. I can come back this way, and maybe get healing, maybe be able to come back in with a vengeance. But yeah, so that's roughly the offensive positions that I'm thinking about. And then defensively, in blue, so like I said, holding kind of right hand side, I've got this position in the bridge, which is kind of assuming that I play the fight aggressively, and maybe I'm holding in window, and trying to get some poke before backing out. This is not something that I would set up as, because window is a really easy place to die to 6 people. But like maybe they've lost the fight, both their supports backed out. We know their supports are over here. I'm gonna come up here and try and get a little bit of damage before backing out. Or maybe we've got a Genji or somebody who's come up with me, who's in window, and I want to help him out, and then back out, and then I would back out, probably on top, like into the bridge is the idea. So either take the long way around, or I just drop back and jump straight up. So that's the idea behind that position. Over here, like these 3 are related, obviously. It's just to take, just to get a lot of healing. If I'm really low and I need to make sure that I'm not going to take damage from like anyone that's set up anywhere on the left side of the point, would be to come in here with Mercy and just kind of get a bunch of heals. So that's assuming that they're maybe they're over here or something like that, and I need to get out. So being here, either on the high ground is more, they've dove us, they were up here, and then we, maybe they pushed the right, like I talked about for us. Maybe they went this way, so our Zen, is falling back into here, our Mercy's in here, and then so this is the starting point, I think, for the defense Ollie showed us. So basically jump up here, as they come in, give them, pressure them so that they can't follow up on our supports. But, I'm probably going to take a lot of damage doing that, so I can just duck into the room, and use the walls to our advantage. And then, we're probably going to have extra damage compared to them if it's just the tanks through here, and then they're going to have to drop off. So that's this position, and more or less this position. I'm going to add some more about this later. And then this is the counterpart on the opposite side, where they dive straight across, and then our supports kind of kite back into the corner, and I can jump from here-ish and get up here to help counter dive, and then use this wall as a prevention against this building and this building. Both of those angles are cut off by that wall, so that's the goal of that position. And then these two positions here, basically they have staging potential for jumping the high ground. This one would be kind of healed up from here, drop down here, way to beat, jump, kind of an idea, or help contest the point against people over here, and then I can stay somewhat safe, tag the point in and out. But this position is going to be better for that in most scenarios that I think of, because there's more cover, just straight up more cover against anyone who's not on top, and I can still tag the point. There's a mega here, there's a mini here, so I have resources independent of the healers that I can exploit to get healing. Although trying to take this mini is pretty suicidal. The mega is less so, but the mini is pretty deadly if they've got the high ground. But that's the idea, and then I can duck in and out, and again use it to jump up here. Potentially, just be here and jump up onto this high ground. Make sure that they don't put a Hanzo on it, and take the box and jump on the high ground after that. That's also a play that could be made. But yeah, and then this one, yeah, I've already explained this one. The goal, again, is to recover enough health that I can jump onto the high ground. It's not a kind of a hard reset for my health, like these positions here and here, and then this one to an extent. So that's about the size of my Volskaya A analysis for healing positions for Winston. Hopefully this is recorded, hopefully it's clear, hopefully some good feedback can be had. Thanks a lot.